Rafe's bittersweet farewells, a heartfelt exit, a broken engagement, and a reunion years in the making. Salem is no stranger to drama. But few storylines in recent months have stirred the hearts of longtime fans quite like Rafe's quiet, emotional departure and the sudden end of his relationship with Jada. As one of the town's most reliable and morally upright residents, Rafe Hernandez has often stood as a rock for others. But this time, the foundation beneath him has cracked. After weeks of turmoil, shattered trust, and emotional whiplash, Rafe is making a shocking decision that will change his life and possibly reshape the future of Days of Our Lives. Let's rewind to the tear-filled scene that aired Friday, April 25th. In a moment that caught many fans off guard, Rafe and Jada's engagement came to a sudden, irrevocable halt. But what came next was even more surprising. Rafe revealed that he would be leaving Salem, stepping down from Black Patch, and walking away from the life he built brick by brick over nearly 2 decades. Only there's more to the story. Much more. A love that could have been when Rafe and Jada first got together. It felt like a breath of fresh air. Unlike many of Salem's chaotic couples, their relationship was grounded in mutual respect, maturity, and genuine connection. Rafe, a veteran of Salem's emotional battlefield, had seen more heartbreak than most, from his roller coaster with Sami, to his bittersweet chapters with Hope, to false starts and misfires with others. Jada, on the other hand, was newer to town. A strong, driven, no-nonsense detective, she brought a spark of fresh energy to Rafe's world. Together, they looked like they might break Salem's infamous relationship curse. Their chemistry was undeniable. Their commitment seemed sincere. Plans for marriage felt not just inevitable, but right. And yet, as with so many promising things in Salem, outside forces conspired against them. The moment EJ and Rafe's lookalike, the manipulative Arnold Feniger, entered the picture, things began to unravel. Misunderstandings multiplied. Trust disintegrated. When Jada found out the man she had been sharing her life with wasn't Rafe at all for part of their relationship, something broke inside her. Something that couldn't be mended with apologies or good intentions. The interrogation room goodbye in one of the most emotionally charged scenes of the week, Rafe and Jada found themselves sitting across from one another in the cold, clinical environment of the police interrogation room. But it wasn't a suspect they were interrogating. It was their own hearts. Jada, fighting tears, admitted she couldn't move past the betrayal. Rafe, stoic but clearly heartbroken, didn't try to argue. He didn't make grand speeches or last-ditch pleas. Instead, he honored her feelings. And then he quietly dropped the bombshell. Well, you should also know that as soon as Steve gets back from Estonia, I will be resigning from Black Patch. I got a call from my old boss at the FBI. He offered me a remote position. It was the kind of moment that felt like the end of an era. Rafe, a man of action and integrity, was stepping back not just from his job, but from Salem itself. I'm still thinking about it, he added. But I think given recent developments, I will accept the offer. But where is he really going? And is this truly the end for Rafe and Jada? The real reason Rafe is leaving Salem, let's be honest. This story doesn't end in a simple FBI desk job and quiet reflection. The truth is, Rafe's heart has been pulling him in another direction for months now. Behind the scenes, sources hint at a deeper motivation for Rafe's departure. And it has everything to do with an old flame who never quite left his heart. Sami Brady. Yes, Sami. The fiery, complicated, unforgettable woman who is tangled with almost every major character in Salem and left emotional wreckage in her wake, including Rafe himself. Their past is long, messy, passionate, and undeniably magnetic. Word is that Rafe and Sami have been in secret contact in recent months. After her latest split with Lucas and the fallout from her war with EJ, Sami fled to Italy for some space and solitude. But she's not been alone. Rafe, wrestling with his doubts about Jada and overwhelmed by the chaos surrounding his double's betrayal, found himself turning to Sami once again. Initially just a few calls, then late-night video chats. And now, plans for a reunion. Rafe is headed to Italy not just to escape the ghosts of Salem, but to reconnect with the woman who has haunted his dreams for over a decade. Their past was never resolved. Their chemistry never truly faded. And with both of them newly single, the door is wide open. But why now? John Black's funeral brings the past roaring back. The final confirmation came when it was announced that Rafe would be returning to Salem in June for a funeral that's bound to bring the entire town to its knees, the passing of John Black. John's death will send shockwaves through Salem, uniting old enemies and estranged lovers alike. It will be a moment of mourning, but also of reckoning, a reminder that time is short and love must be fought for. And Rafe? He won't be returning alone. Rumor has it Sami will accompany him back to Salem, marking the official reemergence of one of the show's most controversial couples. What about Jada? As for Jada, she's not disappearing into the background. Her chemistry with Sean Brady has not gone unnoticed, not by fans and certainly not by the writers. While still fragile from the implosion of her engagement, Jada and Sean have shared quiet, heartfelt moments recently. And with Sean reeling from his own mistakes and family trauma, he may find solace in Jada's strength, just as she finds comfort in his loyalty. Their bond could grow, could falter, or it could ignite into something more powerful than either of them expected. But make no mistake, Jada is not done with love. Her story is only beginning. Is this the end for Rafe and Jada? Not necessarily. In Salem, nothing is ever final. Rafe and Jada's chapter may be closing for now, but it's not hard to imagine a future where their paths cross again. Perhaps even in the most unexpected of circumstances. Imagine a scene, a year from now, where Rafe returns again, older, wiser, more certain of what he truly wants, and finds Jada standing tall, thriving, and ready for answers. Or a moment when a mission gone wrong with the FBI forces him to rely on Salem's finest, and Jada is the one who saves him. The possibilities are endless. But for now, the message is clear. Rafe is stepping into a new life, one that might include closure with Sami, a new start with the FBI, and a different vision for the future than anyone anticipated. Johnny shatters Chanel's dreams. A devastating blow that leaves Salem in tears. In Salem, where love often fights to survive amid secrets and heartbreak, a new storm has arrived, and this one might be the end of the road for Johnny and Chanel. What started as a hopeful, even joyful chapter for them, adopting a baby, building a life together, has unraveled into one of the most soul-crushing moments in days of our lives this year. It begins on a quiet afternoon when Chanel enters the room expecting a discussion about finalizing the adoption. Instead, she's met with a look in Johnny's eyes she doesn't recognize, one filled with doubt, with conflict, with pain. At first, her heart races. She assumes the worst. Maybe the agency has changed their minds. Maybe Amy, their contact, has backed out. Maybe it's something external. But what Johnny reveals cuts deeper than any external force ever could. He tells her, in a hushed and shaky voice, that he's not sure he can go through with it. Not now. Not like this. The adoption, something they've talked about for weeks, planned for, dreamed about, is suddenly off the table for him. And not because of anything that happened outside their control. It's because he doesn't feel ready to be a father. Not anymore. The words hang in the air like a heavy fog. Chanel blinks, stunned. Her mind rushes to make sense of it. Just yesterday they were looking at baby furniture online. Just last week he was holding her and whispering how excited he was to become a dad. And now? Now he's telling her he never really believed it was happening, and that's why he hasn't said anything until now. Chanel, ever the hopeful one, ever the fighter, takes a deep breath. She tries to understand. Tries to be patient. Tries to make it work. We can do this together, she pleads. Her voice is strong, but the crack in it is starting to show. We can figure this out. We're a team. But Johnny shakes his head. It's not fair, he says. Not to her, and certainly not to Tate and Sophia, the children they were preparing to adopt. How could he bring them into a family if his heart isn't fully in it? They deserve parents who are 100% committed, who know what they're doing. She fights the tears that are already stinging her eyes. I am committed, she insists. I've never been more sure of anything in my life. I want this family. I want us. She begs him to lean on her, to trust that they can weather this together. But Johnny doesn't move. He doesn't lean. He doesn't believe in himself anymore. What broke him, what brought him to this point, is his father. The shadows of EJ's manipulations, his betrayals, his darkness. They've left a mark on Johnny's soul. He's scared he'll end up just like him. That somehow that darkness lives in his blood too. That if he becomes a father, he might pass it down. This is nonsense, Chanel says, her voice now trembling with rage. You are not him. You have a heart, one of the best I've ever known. You love. You care. You show up. That's what matters. But her words fall flat. And then, in a moment of raw emotion, she snaps. What about me? She cries. What about what I need? You're breaking my heart, Johnny. It's a scream that echoes across the room, slicing through the tension like a knife. Her eyes brim with tears as her voice breaks. That's when the knock comes at the door. Tate and Sophia enter, their small faces lighting up when they see Chanel. They rush over and hand her a scrapbook, a gift they've been working on for their new family. Drawings of houses, stick figures labeled Mom and Dad, glitter glued to the cover. And then they notice something's wrong. Sophia, perceptive beyond her years, tilts her head. Is everything okay? She asks. Johnny, despite Chanel's silent pleas, kneels to meet their eyes. I'm sorry, he says softly. We can't adopt the baby. Chanel gasps. No, Johnny, don't, but it's too late. Sophia's face contorts in confusion and then heartbreak. What do you mean? But we made this book. We made everything. Her voice rises. You promised. I know, Johnny says, visibly in pain. But things have changed. I'm not ready. I thought I was, but I'm not. No. No. Sophia screams, stomping her feet as tears stream down her cheeks. Tate tries to hold her hand, tries to calm her, but she shakes him off and runs out the door. Tate follows, turning back once to look at Chanel, eyes filled with confusion and betrayal. Back at the town square, Sophia sits on a bench, tears soaking her sleeves. Tate pulls out his phone as it rings. It's Holly. He doesn't answer. Instead, he sits beside Sophia and says, we'll figure it out. I promise. But he doesn't sound so sure himself. Back at the apartment, the silence is deafening. Chanel turns to Johnny, her eyes now drained of hope, filled only with pain and disbelief. You didn't even give me a chance to talk about this. You just made the decision. He tries to speak, but she holds up her hand. I can't look at you right now. I can't even be near you. Please, he whispers, but she cuts him off with 2 words. Just go. Johnny walks out the door. And as it clicks shut behind him, Chanel falls to the floor, clutching the teddy bear they had picked out for the baby. She holds it tightly to her chest as if trying to cling to the dream that's already slipping away. Her sobs echo through the apartment, the scrapbook still on the table, open to a page where a child had scrawled, "Welcome home." But for Chanel, home just became a very lonely place.